Hi, welcome to This Expat Life. My name is Amanda Maxime, and as a certified coach, I help high-achieving expats find more fulfillment and happiness in their global lives. Because while life abroad is often amazing, it is not only rainbows and butterflies, as all experienced expats know. In This Expat Life, I open up space for all facets of life abroad and what you can do to thrive in it. And to support you in your personal, professional, and geographic life transitions, I share tips, tell relatable stories, and connect with fellow expats. Whether you've just moved abroad or you are a seasoned expat, This Expat Life is your place to find real understanding and to grow from the inside out. Enjoy the show. Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of This Expat Life. Today I want to talk about something that we perhaps overlook when we think about our next chapter, a decision, or something new for ourselves, which is just super essential to executing that next chapter or decision in the right way. And I was reminded of it myself when I got a message from someone in my DMs on Instagram from a stranger. And this was just after the cartel violence took place in Mexico. And I'm sure you heard about it in the news, but there was like an unrest of the cartels in lots of places in Mexico, except for Mexico City. And I wrote about it there, just in my stories, and I shared my observations, just saying like, I'm not afraid, I'm not anxious at all or afraid at all, but, well, I forgot what I wrote exactly, but it was my observations. And there was no good or bad or any judgment on what's going on. It was just my observations and how I was feeling in it. And one stranger saw my story, and she wrote me, well, feel free to move back to your own country. And I was just a little bit annoyed because I get these comments more often when I talk about expat stuff on Instagram. There are always people who are saying it's not expats, it's immigrants. And while I don't want to go into that discussion here, because I actually do think they have a point, it always really bugs me that they are just, giving their opinion without anyone asking for it. And if it's politely written and in a curious way, I will respond to it and I will, be nice to them. But if it's just a comment of like, well, feel free to move to your own country, or saying in caps, you are an immigrant, yeah, I get really annoyed with that. But this message, I'm actually pretty grateful that she sent it to me because it really highlighted something for me that I want to share with you today as well. Because it highlights something that is relevant for expats anywhere who are about to start a new chapter or are leveling up, as I was saying. And the thing I want to share with you is not about how your present can affect local communities as an expat, because let's be honest, expat and digital nomad gentrification is real, not just in Mexico, it's also happening in Amsterdam. But that is not what I want to highlight, at least not today. This message to me was really proof again, or a reminder that it's really about the next level identity that is needed for your next chapter. And let me explain. Like I said, I regularly get comments from complete strangers who feel the need to comment on something, whether that's my present in Mexico City, the word of the use expats, like I was saying, or even just being independent woman. And those messages that I just shared before are actually mild, because I remember I was getting comments on YouTube videos like, oh, you should get your eggs frozen, or you're such a snowflake, all from men, by the way. And so I regularly get comments like these. Some are okay and polite, some are just not nice at all, and it's block and delete by. But there is a part of me that really hates getting these comments. Not just because it's not nice to receive them sometimes, but it's because I really stand for depth and nuance. And this part of me that has this depth and nuance really hates getting these kinds of comments, because it gets triggered in me that they don't see my depth and my nuance. And so I hate, for example, that strangers can think of me as an ignorant gringa. I'm not a gringa. Well, I'm not officially a gringa as an American. But I hate it when they can think of me as this ignorant gringa who doesn't speak a word of Spanish, for example, while I speak both Spanish and Portuguese. I made Latin America my career because I studied a master in Latin American politics. I worked as a political risk analyst covering Latin America in corporate London. I worked as a diplomat in Brazil. Like, I made my whole career out of it. And I also have a lot of friends here. And as I said, I speak the 2 languages almost fluently. And so I hate it that someone sees my Mexico City cartel violence observations, which again had 0 judgment, and then sees me as someone who is just like maybe an American or just like an ignorant tourist or whatever, a digital nomad who is just here not understanding anything or who is judging what is going on without understanding the local context. I hate it because I'm not like that. I'm not someone who is ignorant and actually know a lot about the region. And the same part of me is also triggered when I got these expat comments, because I hate it when strangers can think that I only coach white, rich, privileged expats who are sometimes really immigrants in disguise. I do agree with them, actually. While I coach people on all continents and from all continents, right? So I know there's this discussion going on between, is it an expat or an immigrant? And I really do believe that a lot of these people that were writing the comments have a really good point. But I hate it that they are just assuming, I get really triggered when people assume things about me or my clients, that they are just assuming that all these expats are just like white, rich immigrants in disguise. Whereas actually, there are still people who are officially expats. And actually, I also coach people from Latin America, from Africa, from Asia, who also call themselves expats. So the part of me that stands for depth and nuance really hates these comments that are just really assuming things that are simply not true. And I also hate it sometimes that strangers can think that what I choose to share on my stories on Instagram is all there is to me, because I feel like I have a lot more to share, but I intentionally choose what I share. And not just strangers who can think that, by the way, also people who know me. And for a long time, I let that part dominate. That part that really stands for depth and nuance and who wanted to be seen in that way as well. So I did not take too strong of a stance in those things. Online, for example, I also prefer to work one-on-one for a long time because, then you can really see my depth and nuance. And I attached a lot of importance to being understood. And this is why these comments are triggering me, because it makes me feel like I am not being understood and I'm not being seen for the depth and nuance that I actually do bring with me. And as I said, for a long time, I let that part dominate, and it really had this effect in how I was showing up. But as I recently, last year actually, decided to level up, both personally and professionally, I realized something. And that is, for my own growth, I need to let go of that part. If I want to work with thousands of expats, I need to accept that not everyone is going to see my depth or like what I do or like me. Right? It is, if I really want to grow, I need to let go of that part that I still stand for depth and nuance, but I was letting it dominate me for a while, and it was blocking me how I was showing up. Things I said, also in conversation sometimes, not just online. So, but to level up, to go to where I want to go, I need to be okay that people are just not going to see me the way that I am, and truly be okay with that, so that these comments don't trigger me anymore. So when I got this message of this girl in my DMs, there was an initial annoyance, but then it was fine. Whereas these comments, maybe 1-2 years ago, would have triggered me much more before. Also those comments about like, oh, you're not an expat, you're an immigrant. It used to bug me really. But now, as I got this DM from this stranger, I kind of shrugged my shoulders this time. And actually, 2 days later, I got another expat immigrant comment, and I was just like, whatever. So when I got these messages in that week in Mexico City, I realized that my identity shift had taken place. That part no longer dominates how I show up. That part is still here for everyone who wants to know me on a deeper level. I stand for the depth and nuance. It's still here, but it's not the part that I'm leading with. And I'm okay if people don't like me, don't understand me, or assume things about me. And this is what I want to mirror to you as well, because I'm using this example of online comments. My guess is that you probably don't have this issue, but maybe it is something else. But I really want to show you that if you want to start a new chapter or really level up, it is not just about making that decision that you're gonna, start a new chapter or you decide you're gonna level up. You also need to be able to carry it. Your identity needs to go next level too. Otherwise, the decision is gonna fall flat, or that level up is gonna fade out. So if you really want to make a big change or truly level up, your identity needs an upgrade too. For example, if you want to move abroad again as a single in your late 30s, the current you needs to upgrade to the steady, confident version who leads herself while all her friends are settling down. And she also needs to not let that confuse her. So, and my guess is that quite a few of you will resonate with this. There's desire to move abroad again or to change something about your location, but everyone around you is settled and living a more quiet life and with kids, and you start to wonder, but maybe I should do that too because everyone else is doing it. If you really want to start that new chapter abroad, you need to be firm in your new identity, that you are steady and confident in your decisions. Because otherwise, seeing your friends will make you wobble and question yourself. If you want to go full throttle on your career so you can retire by 50, I actually know a couple of mostly guys who want this. That's great. Go all in. But you'll also need to expand your container in a way so that you can handle more stress, more pressure, and more responsibility without that letting distract you or stop you or slow you down, right? If you want to go all in, you need to be able to carry that bigger load. If you want to start a family but you're single, you'll need to be real honest with yourself and see where you might still have some walls up that need to come down. So you'll need to upgrade to an identity who is willing to truly look at herself and to do the work and to come in more vulnerably in her relationships. Just an example. So, and here's another one. If you dream of starting your own business, but you're comfortable in a corporate job right now, you need to get comfortable with taking off the mask and being seen for who you really are. This is definitely the first learning I had when I quit my diplomacy job and started my global coaching practice. I was I was comfortable in my diplomacy career because it was kind of a mask that I got to put on and hide behind it and not show my true authentic self, because I equated that with it being not safe or scary. And so if you really want to start your own business, you'll also need to step into this identity of, I'm comfortable with putting the mask down and showing myself for who I am and being seen for who I really am. So you see, this is not just about deciding what you want. It is really about the identity work that needs to be done if you want your decision to be successful in the long run. Because a decision without proper alignment from the inside out is doomed to fizzle out. And my guess is that you wouldn't want this for yourself. Because you're not going to quit what you so carefully constructed in all those years if there is a big chance you're not going to accomplish your goals. If you want to take the leap, you want to be certain enough that you're going to achieve it, right? That is exactly why in my world we don't do superficial work or quick fixes. I don't just help you make a decision, I actually help you to carry that decision, to step into that new identity that is necessary for you to really have that upgrade, next chapter or level up in your life. So my work is very deep, it's highly personal, and it's honest, because this is what is needed to get to that deeper level of shifting your identity so that you can become the person who is truly able to carry that decision and the extra load that comes with it. So thank you, stranger, for showing up in my DM a couple of weeks ago, for highlighting this to me and mirroring it back to me again. Because even though there was an initial annoyance at first, I actually saw my growth from 1-2 years ago and how I now respond to those comments internally with my nervous system. And it really showed me that I am truly leveling up, because I'm no longer letting that part that really wants to be seen for who she is, with a depth and a nuance, I'm no longer letting that part dominate, so that I can really level up and impact thousands of people across the globe. And yes, there will be people that are not going to like what I do, but that is okay when I can impact thousands more. So if you are someone who has been in this in-between of chapters, or you made a big decision, or you already feel your heart is calling for something, or there's something new, or you want to level up, start asking yourself first, who is the version of me, or who do I need to become to be able to truly carry that decision? What identity work do I need to do so I can have that upgrade? And if you want some guidance in that, you know how to reach me. It's either through my one-on-one coaching or in the Copilot, because also in the Copilot, we do this deeper identity work, and I would love to welcome you there. Have a good day wherever you are, and talk to you soon again.